Namaste, everyone. Thank you for joining us for another session of Yoga Pravesha by Indica Yoga. So today's session is going to feature yoga instructor Chandrika. Chandrika's teaching draws from many styles and has a strong pull towards the Krishnamacharya lineage of Vinyasa Yoga. She specializes in holistic, individualized and group classes, integrating breathwork and movement with its base rooted in the ancient philosophy of Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. She also incorporates restorative techniques, pranayama, meditative techniques, and occasional chanting sessions inspired from Buddhist traditions, Kashmiri Shaivism, and the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. In this session, Chandrika will teach us how to ease into our breath and therefore ease into our life. Chandrika, would you like to join the session, please?
Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you so much for joining Indica Yoga's Yoga Pravesha.
I'm honored to be on this platform. Thank you, Sophia. And I thank Dattaji and everybody else who's behind the scenes too.
Thank you so much. So I'm going to hand over the session to you now, and I'll see all of you towards the end when we open for Q&A. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome, everyone. My name is Chandrika, and we'll start with a little prayer. So you can just make yourself comfortable. Close your eyes. And take a moment to bring the attention to the breath. And we'll open with 3 long Oms and the peace invocation, Sahana Vavatu. So for those of you who know Sahana Vavatu, you may join in. Starting by taking a conscious breath in for the Om. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. You can lower your hands down, open your eyes. And let me first give you a structure to this session today, and then we'll begin. So I'll give you a brief introduction to our intention of the session, after which we'll start with a practical class, which is divided into 2 parts. So the first part would be opening the body, opening the lungs up to be able to breathe better, to be able to experience the breath a little better in the body, in order to be able to get the best out of the second part, which takes us closer to our intention, which is rooting the attention in the body through the breath. So now let me give you an introduction into the session today. How do we root our attention in the body through the breath, and why do we need to do it? I think it's taken us a whole pandemic to realize the importance of breathing right. And now there are so many resources online emphasizing on the importance of the breath. We see that if we don't breathe properly, it causes a lot of conditions, physical as well as psychosomatic conditions. It can cause us asthma, it can cause us anxiety, depression, and mental disorders, and so on and so forth. So it is very important to understand how to breathe properly. Now, the breath affects every system of the body, whether it's the digestive system or the functioning of the brain, the nervous system. So it is very important to understand how to use the breath. And the first part of our class, let's talk about the importance of the breath. We'll also do little experiments in the class to see what kind of a difference it makes to be more aware of the breath, to work with the breath and see how it impacts our body, our mind on different levels. So let me just start with a quote from the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, which is a very influential text, yogic text on the yoga we practice today. It was written about in 1350, and the quote goes like, "Chale vate, chale chittam, nischale nischalam bhave." When the breath is disturbed, the mind is disturbed. And when the breath is composed, the mind is calm. So using that as a base, we'll start understanding the breath. In the world we live in today, we're constantly bombarded with a lot of stimulus, external stimulus, whether it's from the media or people or overwhelming emotions and thoughts. And it just seems like we are so caught up because we don't really understand how we can use our attention, where we place our attention, and understanding the use of attention. So when we are bombarded, it's very easy for our attention to be captured by something that's external and something that we don't really have control over. So the breath is something that is in the present, and by rooting our attention on the breath, we gain a better sense of control over all the stimulus that I just mentioned. And we start to respond rather than constantly reacting. Now, our nervous system has two parts to it. One is the sympathetic and one is the parasympathetic. And because of this constant reaction, this constant exposure to overstimulation that we have, we are caught up in the sympathetic nervous system is really overactive, and which it doesn't create that balance in our body, because the parasympathetic nervous system is that nervous system which sort of restores, rejuvenates, and brings our body to a certain balance. But because we are in constant stimulation, there is this fight or flight mode that we are always in, and it creates a lot of issues in the body, including high blood pressure and diabetes, and of course numerous breathing conditions. So through this practice, we also intend to understand how to allow for the sympathetic nervous system to be activated, and also to bring about the sense of balance. Now it's all about understanding how to use our attention. So sometimes we're usually ruminating about the past, or we're worrying about the future. But here we're going to understand how to root the attention on the breath in order to be able to gain more control over our lives, over the way we respond to situations. And right now, as you can tell, I mean, I'm a little camera shy, and it's one of my first talks, and I can hear that my breath is uneven. And this practice is also going to work for me right now, because I get a little nervous in front of a camera. So let's see how it goes. So we're going to understand how to come back to our breathing in order to be able to respond to life rather than constantly react. So let's start with a practical session. The first part of our session, let's do it sitting, because we need to use our body and we need a complete 360-degree expansion of the body. which if you lie down, you won't get. The torso needs to expand when you breathe. There are just a few things we need to keep in mind, which is understanding that you need to use the nose to breathe through this practice unless you're told to use the mouth, because of course the nose plays its own role for breathing. It filters the air that we take in, and it also moistens the air and makes it easier for the absorption of oxygen. But a lot of us use the mouth for breathing. It firstly dries the entire mouth, the windpipe, and it's not a natural mode for breathing. So we're going to use the nose as much as we can, unless we are told to use the mouth. Posture is important. So we keep the spine lengthened up, the chin slightly down, the shoulders back and down, allowing the chest to open up. And it's very important to keep the spine lengthened up. If you're sitting on a chair, just make sure that you have your feet well placed on the ground, the soles of the feet firmly planted, your feet about hip width apart, and the body relaxed. So when we talk about a posture, two qualities are important. One is sthira, which is steadiness and alertness, and sukham, which is comfort. So just make sure if you're sitting on the ground, you're sitting comfortably. You can take the backrest, either leaning back, but making sure the lower back is against whatever support you're taking. So you keep the spine lengthened up. You're not leaning back, so the spine is slanted, or you're not slouching. This needs a whole class of an explanation as to why we need to keep the spine lengthened, but for simple reasons, it's healthier and it allows a free flow of breath. Now, once you have your posture, this is for the first part of the class. And actually, before we go into the practical session, the second part of the session might require you to lie down. So you have an option of either sitting or lying down. If you choose to lie down, you can already lay out your setup. So if you're lying down, you can put a mat, have a cushion, something to cover yourself. And if you're continuing to sit down, just make sure you're comfortable. Okay, so just take a little time to set your space up, and I'll give you a minute and we can start soon after. Okay, now, once you've settled down, keep your body still. In the first part, we will be doing movements. And in the second part, I would request you as much as you can to keep your body as still as you can to get the best out of it. So keeping the body still, the eyes closed. And I'm just going to quickly scan the body. So as I scan it, take your attention to these different parts of the body. Feel them and make sure you're not tensing any muscles. If you are, ease them out. Make the necessary adjustments so you're comfortable. So start by sensing your feet, your legs, the position of your legs. The hips and around the hips. Sensing the abdomen. And notice if there is a movement in the abdomen that is created with the breath, very gentle movement of the abdomen moving out when you breathe in probably, and moving in when you breathe out. Stay here for a few seconds and observe this movement. Taking the attention up to the chest. Observing the movement the breath creates in the chest. Maybe noticing your heartbeat, either the sound of it or just the feeling of the heartbeat. Now observing the position of your spine, starting from the lower back, sensing the muscles in the lower back, the spine of the middle and the upper back, and the muscles in the middle and the upper back, eased, relaxed, yet with a lengthened spine. And then taking your attention to your shoulders, sensing the shoulders relaxed. And if they're drooping forward, you would want to slightly roll them back and down. Sensing the arms, both your arms, your hands, and positioning your hands either facing upwards or downwards on your knees or your thighs, or in your lap with one palm over the other. So find a comfortable place for your hands. Sensing your hands, your arms, and the shoulders. And then taking your attention to your neck. If you notice the back of your neck is arched, then very slightly bring your chin down. Not too much, but very slightly. And then you sense your head almost weightless as it's balanced on the neck. And if you want to just move the head around a little bit to feel that position where it feels weightless, you may do that. And then sensing the face. Sensing all the tension eased out, especially from around the forehead. Sensing the eyes very gently closed. The eyeballs still. If you notice there's an eye movement, just observe the muscles around the eyes, soften them, and start to pay attention to the eyebrow center so the eyeballs become a little still. You don't have to take your eyeballs and look up between the eyebrows, but just keep the eyes relaxed. The attention at the eyebrow center for a few seconds, just so that the eyes come to a point of stillness. The rest of the face, the cheeks, the mouth, the lower jaw relaxed. Feel the position of your tongue. If you're tensing, then just ease out the tongue, the top of the tongue very gently touching the upper palate of the mouth. Now, once you have this position with the body, the sthira and the sukha, the state of alertness, yet with relaxation, you're going to move your attention to the breath. Without changing your breath, try not to deepen your breath or manipulate the breath at the moment. Just observe your breath. Follow your breath in from the nostrils, through the windpipe, into your lungs, moving the diaphragm down and allowing the belly to move out when you breathe in. And when you breathe out, feel like you push the belly in, and as the breath is let out of the lungs, out through the windpipe, out through the nasal passage, out through the nostrils, you follow it. So just follow this passage of the breath for a few seconds. Again, just a reminder, there's no manipulation of the breath. Before we enter into this practice, we're going to measure the number of breaths you take in a minute. So I'm going to say start, and one breath comprises of one inhale and one exhale. Again, there's no manipulation of the breath is natural, however you're breathing now. So you breathe in and you breathe out and you count that as one breath. So I'll say start and I'll say stop, and you measure the number of breaths in between. So let's start by breathing out fully and start counting your breath now. Stop and just make a mental note of how many breaths you took in that minute. Now we'll measure the breath now, and we'll also measure it at the end, right at the end of the session, to see if it's made a difference. Now, keeping your eyes closed, start allowing your breath to deepen. So if you remember, I said there's a 360-degree expansion in the torso. When you breathe in, it's as if you allow the breath right into the pelvic cavity, expanding the abdomen, expanding the chest. You feel the back expand right up to the collarbones and the shoulders. And when you breathe out, you slowly start breathing out, and you could very gently contract the pelvic floor muscles, pulling the abdomen in, breathing all the air out from the chest. So I'll repeat that again. You breathe in as if you are breathing into the pelvis, which feels like it's expanding. The abdomen, the chest, you feel the expansion in the muscles of the back, the opening of the spine, and it goes all the way up into the chest and the collarbones and the shoulders. And when you breathe out, breathing out with a sense of control, all the air completely. And just do about 6 more conscious breaths like this. If your mind gets distracted, bring your attention back to the breath, observing the complete expansion of the torso on the inhale, a sense of alertness when you breathe in, and a sense of relaxation, but not slouching the body in any way as you exhale. Breathing out, making sure you've breathed out all the air completely. If you're still doing the breathing, you can make this the last round and we'll move on to the next technique, which is very similar. The only difference is you're going to add a pause after you inhale of 2 seconds. So you breathe in the same way, expanding the entire torso. Then pause for 2 seconds. Don't force yourself or make the pause very rigid. It should feel very easy, just a natural pause. Ease into the pause. Then you breathe out all the air and you pause for 2 seconds after you breathe out. And we do 6 breaths like this. So let me guide you through the first round. Breathe out all the air. Breathing in, allowing the lower abdomen, upper abdomen, chest, back, and shoulders to expand. Pause. Exhale all the air out, contracting the abdomen, letting all the air out from the chest. Breathing out completely and pause. And continue 5 breaths more like this. Now, when you do finish, you come back to your normal breath. Just remember, anytime you finish a round of breathing, try not to open your eyes. Rather, keep your eyes closed and keep observing your breath. Keep observing this passage of the breath that we started with. Now, if you're still doing it, make this the last round. And we're going to do some movements with the arms to encourage different areas of the lungs to open up. So I'll just show you what we're going to do. The same kind of breathing where you breathe in, pause, breathe out, and pause. This time with the arms. So you breathe in, synchronize the inhale with the movement of arms up, interlock your fingers, turn your palms up, lengthen, pause, exhale, circle your arms down, synchronizing the movement of the arms down with the length of the exhalation. Pause for 2 seconds. 6 rounds totally. Let's start by breathing out. Inhale, circle the arms up. Interlock, turn, pause. Exhale, circle your arms down. Rest your hands on the knees, pause, and do 5 rounds by yourself. Now you can close your eyes. Try not to look at anybody else. Go with your own breathing pace. Synchronize the inhale with the movement of the arms up. Remember to pause, make sure the shoulders are relaxed. Exhale, bring the arms down. Pause, make sure you are relaxed. And continue. Now, if you have finished 6 rounds totally, come back to your regular breathing. Your eyes are closed. Now we're going to do a little bit of a different movement and alter the breath a little bit. So this time you're going to inhale, circle your arms up, interlock your fingers, turn the palms up, pause after you inhale, lower your hands behind your head. The pause may be a little longer than 2 seconds. Then you inhale, lift your arms up, and exhale and circle the arms down. Okay, so let's do the first round, 6 rounds in total. Breathe out. Inhale, circle the arms up, interlock the fingers, turn the palms up. Hold the breath, lower your hands behind your head, elbows back. Hold. Keep holding, lift the arms up, and exhale, circle the arms down. Let's do that one more time. So throughout the arm movement, you're holding the breath. It's only when you bring the arms down, you exhale. Breathe out. Inhale, circle the arms up, interlock, turn. Hold the breath, bring the arms behind the head. Lift the arms up, still holding the breath. And exhale, circle the arms down. Now you can continue to about 5 more rounds. Anytime you feel this is uncomfortable for you, don't force yourself to hold the breath, especially if you have severe anxiety or heart conditions or high blood pressure. Just breathe normally instead. Or you can even do the arm movement a little faster if you feel it's training you to hold the breath for that long. Now, when you finish, you're back to your regular breathing. If you're still doing it, make this your last round. Back to normal breathing. And we'll do one more technique working most especially with the back of the lungs. So you're going to hold this arm position for the 6 rounds. You're going to interlock your fingers, extend your arms forward. I'm just going to change my position so you can see. Interlock the fingers, extend your arms forward, and not hunching the back, but keeping the spine lengthened. Slightly bring your chin down, move your shoulders forward, and move the spine back. So you're not hunching the back in any way, you're elongating the spine. Now, while in this position, you breathe in, just like we did, especially feel the upper back. Pause for 2 seconds and slowly, consciously breathe out and pause for 2 seconds. You're going to hold the arms like this for 6 breaths. So let's start. Your position is maintained. I'm just facing sidewards so you get an idea of how it's done. So let's start. Position the arms, interlock the fingers, turn the palms forward, extend the arms, bring your chin down, shoulders forward, spine back. Now let's start. Breathe out first. The first round, breathe in, pause, and breathe out all the air. Pause. And do 5 more rounds by yourself. If your arms feel too tired, you may relax them. And especially for those of you who have office jobs, you'd notice that there may be a lot of tension in the upper back. And this kind of a technique helps ease out the muscles. Just complete your 6 rounds in total. When you finish, lower the arms down. Readjust your posture with your shoulders back, the spine lengthened up, and the eyes gently closed. Just take a moment to notice how you're breathing right now. Whether you notice a difference in the way you breathe, and once that's done, the last technique we're going to do is single nostril breathing. So we're going to do one nostril at a time, starting with the left nostril. So in order to do that, you're going to use your right hand thumb. I'm going to mirror you. So you're going to use your right hand thumb to close your right nostril and start inhaling and exhaling through the left. Say about 10 breaths. So let's start first by breathing out, empty out the lungs. Then use your right hand thumb, close the right nostril just below the hard bone on the soft cartilage, and start breathing in slowly through the left. Same focus of pelvis, abdomen, chest expanding. Pause for 2 seconds. Breathe out all the air completely. After you breathe out, pause for 2 seconds and do 9 more rounds like that. Make sure your right shoulder is relaxed. The elbows not too far from the chest, not too close, just at a slight distance to be allowed to for the expansion of the right side of the chest. When you finish, lower your right hand down. Keep your eyes closed, and we're going to do the right side now. Remember the same technique. This time use your the left hand thumb to close the left nostril, just slightly below the hard bone on the nostril. We're pressing the soft cartilage. The left shoulder is relaxed. The left elbow is not too close, neither is it too far from the body, comfortable distance away. Breathe out, close the nostril, and start breathing in through the right. Pause for a second or two and breathe out through the right. And after you breathe out, pause. Do about 9 more rounds. If you get distracted, if your mind wanders, just keep bringing your attention back, making sure your body is relaxed. Is your posture alert, or have you lost conscience of the body? What is the quality of your breath? Are you allowing a complete expansion around the pelvis, the abdomen, and the chest? When you breathe out, do you breathe out all the air? So just keep your mind occupied with this rather than not having a control over the attention. And if you've finished, lower your left hand down. Keep your eyes closed. Come back to your breathing. And now again, let's just measure the breath. If you're still doing this, make this the last round. And I'll say start. That time you count the number of breaths you take in a minute. I'll say start and stop, and in between you count your breath. So start by breathing out. We're going to start in a few seconds. Breathe out all the air and start counting your breath. stop, and just make a mental note of the count. And see if you notice a difference in the number of breaths you first took and what you've taken now. Just observe it for yourself. Now, for those of you who continue to sit, if you're comfortable, just continue sitting, keep your eyes closed. If you wish to make an adjustment, I would request you to keep your attention on your breathing and make the necessary adjustment without losing the connection to your breath. So if you choose to lie down for the next part of this practice, you may lie down, make yourself comfortable. Try doing it without losing the connection to the breath. So you just keep the thread of the breath consistent throughout. So take your time, make the necessary adjustments so we can move into the latter part of this practical session. Okay, now once you're ready, we're going to start. So again, I'm going to request you to keep your body as still as you can, but not a rigid, forceful stillness, in a very relaxed way. So you need to make sure that you are comfortable. Whatever you have, you need your cushions or whatever to be comfortable, use them. The body posture, the spine lengthened up, the chin slightly down, the shoulders back and down, the hands resting comfortably, either on your knees or in your lap. So just rest your hands wherever you feel comfortable. Try keeping your elbows slightly bent, the position of your legs. And once you have that position of the body, we are going to root our attention in the body through the breath, like I had mentioned in the beginning of the class. So the technique we're going to use is, I'm going to mention a part of the body. You're going to breathe in, sense that part of the body, and breathe out, feel as if that part of the body relaxes. All the muscles soften out. If this is too complicated for you, just keep taking your attention and feel the part of the body that I name. But if you are more comfortable, you breathe into that part that I name, sensing the part, and breathing out, relaxing the part. So let's start by taking the attention to the right foot. We'll spend a few extra seconds just so that you really sense the right foot, and then thereafter we'll move a little quicker. So sense the right foot when you breathe in, and when you breathe out, feel the muscles on the right foot ease out. Anytime your mind wanders, just bring your focus back to the part of the body we are working with. Still with the right foot. Now, once you've got a sense of the right foot, move your attention to the right ankle. You might take a breath or 2 breaths or 3 breaths, it depends, that's fine. I'm only going to name the parts now, the rest you're going to do yourself. The calf on the right leg, the right knee, the right thigh, the whole right leg, the right hip, the waist on the right side, the right armpit, the right shoulder, the right upper arm, the right elbow, the right forearm, the right wrist, and the right hand. The whole right arm, the waist and the right side of the body, the whole right leg. Sense the right side that we just did through your breath. If your mind has wandered, bring your attention back to the body. Start sensing your left foot, the left ankle, the calf on the left leg, the left knee, the thigh, the whole left leg, the left hip, waist on the left side, the armpit, the left shoulder, upper arm, the left elbow, the forearm, the wrist, the left hand. If your mind has wandered or you've got distracted, bring your attention back. Sense the whole left arm, the side of the body, the waist, the whole left leg, the left side of the body. Move the attention to the back of the body. If you're getting distracted or your mind is wandering, bring your attention back. That's the point of this class, on how to understand how and where to use the attention. Putting the attention on the lower back. Sense the lower back when you breathe in. And when you breathe out, ease out the lower back. The middle back. The upper back. The back of the neck. The back of the head. The top of the head. The top of the head. The back of the head. Back of the neck. The whole back and spine. The whole back of the body. Sense the back of your body with the breath. Moving the attention to the front of the body, sensing the pelvis. Again, if your mind has wandered, attention back to the body. The lower abdomen, upper abdomen, the right side of the chest, the left side of the chest, the center of the chest, the collarbones, the front of the neck, the face, the face, the front of the neck, the chest, the abdomen, and the pelvis. Sensing the whole front of the body. Sense the whole front of the body. If you've lost your focus with the breath or your body, just come back. The last bit of this practice, you're going to sense the whole body. This time using a very similar technique that we did in the first part of this practice, where you breathe in, pause, breathe out, and pause. This time, synchronizing the movement of attention, scanning the body on the inhale from the head down to the feet, pause for 2 seconds, and as you exhale, you sweep your attention, synchronizing it with the exhalation from the feet up to the top of your head. Pause for 2 seconds and sense the whole body. I'll repeat that. When you breathe in, you start scanning your whole body or sensing your body from the head down through every part, all the way down to your feet. Pause for 2 seconds. Get a sense of your entire body in those 2 seconds if you can. If not, just pause. Then when you exhale, you move your attention as you're exhaling from the feet, scanning the body, synchronizing the scan up the body with the exhalation till the top of the head. And you pause for 2 seconds and sense the body or simply pause. So when you're ready, breathe out. Breathe in, start sensing the body from the top of the head down to the feet. Pause and exhale, sense the body from the soles of the feet up the body till the top of the head. Pause. And continue like this for about a minute more. It's a feeling as if your breath is moving through the body, as if there's a flow of breath throughout the body when you inhale and when you exhale. And the pauses are actually to ease into the practice that you're doing, not to tense or rigidify the body. Just a couple of more rounds. You can make this your last round. And even when you finish, just stay for a moment. Notice if you've got a deeper sense of your breath. The whole intention of this practice was to get this inner anchor, to anchor the attention in the breathing, to be able to react less and respond more, to be able to get the sense of calm that in turn resets the entire system, gets us into a state of homeostasis where the body comes into its equilibrium. So now, if you've got a sense of your breath, a deeper sense of your breath, I would request you, even after this session, to stay with it for as long as you can and operate from the center that you have. Now, with your eyes closed and your attention on the breath, for the last time, just let's measure how many breaths we are taking now in a minute. I'll say start, and you start counting your breath. So 1 inhale and 1 exhale is 1 breath. So first breathe out and start. Stop. Come back to just easing into your breath. Notice how you feel. Join your palms together in front of the chest, connecting your thumbs to the center of the chest. And we'll end the session with 3 long Oms and then 3 Shantis. If you'd like to join in, you can take a deep breath in. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Rub your palms together. Keep your eyes closed. And when your palms are warm, just cup your palms to your eyes for a few seconds. And slowly slide your hands down your face onto your body. Open your eyes with a big smile. Thank you. That's the end of the session, and I request Sophia to please come online to see if there are any questions.
Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much for that extremely calming session. It was so relaxing. And, I really hope our participants, especially people who work, who have stressful lives, just an hour of this breathing practice, even once or twice a week, can make such a difference and really just relax the nervous system, relax the mind. So thank you so much, Chandrika, for sharing this lovely practice. We're open for questions. I'm sorry, Diksha ji, we only just saw you said to please repeat and move a bit back. That didn't happen, but just to let everyone know, if you want to see the session again, all of our sessions are recorded. So this session will be available on the Indica Yoga YouTube channel, our social media, as well as our website. So you can always watch the recorded session and share it with people that you might that might be interested in something like this. While we wait for more questions, Koti ji has already put in the chat the event, the link for where everyone can see this session. And also, while we wait for more questions, Koti ji, if any of you would like to get in touch with Chandrika for a session or for a class, we're going to share her email address in the chat box as well. Koti ji, can you please add that? That should show up soon. Yes, there it is, chandrika.om@gmail.com. So any questions, if you can't think of them now, you think of them later, you can always email Chandrika, you can always email us. And as I said, you can always watch this session again. I think we have one question. Aarti ji is saying, thank you, this was wonderful. She'd like to know how long after food should we be doing these breath exercises?
Namaste, Aarti ji. I think you should give it a little bit of a break. See, at least about 2.5 hours for food to digest, so you have enough space to be able to breathe properly and not let it interfere with the digestive process. Yeah, I hope that answers.
Thank you. Yeah, and then Patricia has just given us a comment. She says, thank you. That was absolutely regenerating. So thank you so much for watching. And another thing we have is, that's again the Indica Yoga YouTube channel in the chat box that Koti ji has just put. Thank you so much. So I think we've come to the end of our session. Before we leave, is there any advice or message you'd like to share with us, Chandrika?
I would say that, this is such a beneficial practice. We don't need to complicate things for them to be efficient or effective. So it's a great practice to do before you sleep, like I did this before I started this because I knew I would really be so nervous talking. I'm literally invisible online. So this really helped me, and I know this would probably help people before you have to go for a talk or have to do something important. So you can always refer to this session, even use just a part of it.
Yeah. Thank you. I think that's a great message to end with. We also have one more question before we sign out. Diksha ji is asking, could you please show the sitting position, resting the spine?
Resting the spine?
Yeah, she's saying a sitting position with the spine rested.
Okay. I'll have to move my camera back. I hope I understand your question right. So you're asking for a comfortable seated posture. Is that right? With the spine back. Let me see. I can't seem to get my camera down, but no. So Diksha ji, can I connect with you later to show you a posture?
One second, we'll have to wait. Diksha ji, could you please ask her to email you? We've shared the email. Would that be okay? Chandrika, I'm asking you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. And then maybe you guys can connect. Diksha ji, so can you please do that? Because I think there's some kind of technical difficulty right now with this. But no issues. We will get you in touch, or you can even email us. But also, it's quite past our 1 hour. So I think we're going to have to bring the session to an end right now. But again, I would like to thank Chandrika so much for being a part of Indica Yoga's Yoga Insights, and all of our participants who showed up today. Thank you so much. And please join us tomorrow for Yoga Pravesha, and then for Wednesday and Thursday for Ayush Talks. As we said last week, from Monday to Thursday, we're going to have 4 sessions now every week, and I hope to see all of you on those sessions as well. And yeah, thank you so much for joining us, and I'll see all of you tomorrow. Namaste.
Namaste.